If I get disabled, who's going to run my business? Who's going to take care of my family? These are very, very important questions that you may want to ask yourself as an entrepreneur. Do not wait till you need it. This is one of those things that you need to put. These are one of the success principles. All the successful entrepreneurs have this. They have advisors, they have planners, and some of these things may take 1 to 2 years of planning and talking with Thomas before you actually pull the trigger. But start that conversation now. What are 3 things that you as a business owner, it doesn't matter whether you're an internet marketer or you're in insurance or maybe a realtor, or perhaps you're in a brick and mortar space. What are 3 critical things that you need to succeed? Guess what? Stick on all the way to the end of the show here. I have a guest. He is another business owner who has built a multi-million-dollar organization here. He is leading in Canada as a top individual in his industry, and he has done it unconventionally. But he also has had to pay the price. He has made the mistakes that most entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself, if you're watching this video, have made. And I've invited him to the show here to tell a bit more about his story. I'm going to caution you, do not write him off. When you hear what he does, when you hear how he grew his business, do not just say, no, that's not me. I didn't grow my business that way. He's doing something else. I'm doing something else. Maybe I'm in digital marketing. Maybe I have a restaurant. Don't write it off. There are a lot of common things that happen in his business and his growth. And you can apply these same principles to growing your business. The guest I'd like to bring onto the show is Thomas C. Chan. Now, Thomas actually is in the insurance and financial advisory in Canada. Now, he built his business in a very unconventional way, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to let him come on and tell his story in just a second here. But Thomas built his business to the point where now leads are calling him all the time. He has advisors, he has mentors, he has social media and marketing, he has ads going on, he ranks with SEO. He is also building a team. He does group interviews. He has staff wanting to work for him. He's actually one of the most sought after non-big insurance boutique firms in which he's providing services, and he gives a very personalized service to his clients. He has a lot of repeat customers, he has a lot of referrals, but he also has a very predictable pipeline, and he's able to do all these things in a very short period of time. Thomas is also part of the $1 Million Roundtable. Now, from what I understand, this $1 Million Roundtable is a very exclusive group. You have to be in the top 10% of financial advisors and insurance agents in the world. And Thomas holds a very elite position in this $1 Million Roundtable. Thomas, welcome to the show. Great to have you on, brother.
Thanks so much, Desmond.
So Thomas, what I'd like to do is get you to start off. I think a lot of the viewers that watch this, many times they know that. I'm going to get you to tell your story first. I want to find out who you are, how you got started in your business. What made you want to get into the insurance industry?
For sure. Desmond, I think if you asked me 20 years ago, I have no idea what insurance is. I didn't really get into or know insurance, not only around 10, 12 years ago. As you probably can see, I actually did not born in Canada. I was actually born in Hong Kong. But then I was with my parents. I got here when I was like grade 5, grade 6. Then I kind of got educated in here, grow and raised in here, and I found my job in here. But
so Thomas, sorry to interrupt you. So are you saying another immigrant story here? Are we like the bananas here? I'm going to say some, funny things here on the YouTube video. Again, if you're, this is adult talk here, and it's not racial, just a disclaimer. Okay, Thomas and I, we tease each other. We're both from Vancouver, and on the West Coast here, we use these not racial slurs. I'm gonna get the odd hater gonna say, oh, you guys are racist. No, like I'm teasing myself here, right? So we're like the bananas, the bananas that grew up over here. I think the difference is just that you speak Cantonese fluently and I don't. So I'm really like the washed out banana that even Asians make fun of. At least you maintain some of your, culture. But when you grew up here, was it tough when you came over? Tell us more about that story, and then how did you get into the insurance?
For sure. It's because back then, again, I'm a really shy person. So then I have trouble communicating with other people with neither Cantonese or English. And of course, when I was young, I don't speak a lot of English as well, too. So it was actually quite interesting. So therefore, in university, I actually went to study science because I was like, oh, you know what? I don't like to talk to people. So I'm going to lock myself in the lab and doing all these cool stuff. And actually, indeed, I actually was graduated from the nutritional science, but then I actually work in a pharmacy as well, too, as a pharmacy technician. Long story short, great people to work with, good pay. But then I realized that by the time when I was working, my parents are retiring as well, too. And they have no idea what is their retirement life going to be. More importantly, is they don't know what their savings is going to be about. They have all the monies in the bank, but more just in a savings account. And at the same time, they always mention that they have some sort of insurance that they can get paid out during their retirement. So that kind of got me interested because they have no idea, and the agent who served them are kind of off the radar already. So when I took when I do a little bit more studies about it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Not only you get paid during your retirement, and knock on wood, if you do pass away, then you actually get a payout tax-free as well too. So that got
maybe
me.
you don't get the payout, but your spouse or your beneficiaries get the payout, right?
Exactly.
We're kind of 6 feet underground, so at that point maybe in an urn somewhere. Chinese, we get burned and put in an urn somewhere, right? So.
Yeah, and then so I was like, this is interesting. So I was like, oh, I never knew that insurance not only able to cover when people pass away, we actually get the income replacement, but at the same time, you can actually take it out when you are alive for your retirement. So that got me interested. At the same time, I want to kind of help my parents for their retirements, because at that time we have no idea what is the OA security, what is the CPP. We have no idea. So then I kind of do my self-studies, and unfortunately I was able to find my mentors, and then he was willing to teach me as well too. And that's kind of my successful stories in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I guess coming from a bit more of a digital marketing world or marketing world as well too. I think you and I both share a common mentor, as well several mentors actually, and advisors, which is a common thread, by the way. Just pay attention. Success leaves clues here for those watching this video. Comment below, by the way, as we go along. If you've got a great question and we'd like to have Thomas actually reply to your question or give more details we may not cover in the video, I will get Thomas to actually reply to the videos once we publish this, and he'll reply to you directly. Now, Thomas, you and I also share another mentor. His name is Dan Locke. He's pretty very prominent. He's also another, go figure, banana, immigrant story, didn't speak English. My gosh, is that like, to be successful on the internet, you have to have this kind of story? I don't know. You guys tell us in the comments below. And then Thomas, we also share another advisor, another kind of mentor as well too, but he's more in the financial space. And you're already a financial advisor and a top specialist in the insurance side, and yet you also work with my business partner, CPA, fractional CFO, Josh Spurl from Spurl and Associates. We'll post information in the description below if you want to know more about these individuals. But why do you surround yourself with advisors when you are such a successful advisor yourself?
Yeah, because I think long ago, I think it was my dad, he actually did share this, is that as a person, you can do everything very fast. But then you need a group to bring yourself to the next level, to go far. And I've been always learning this way because I think that I'm okay with the stuff that I do. I was able to give and translate it into a more human language in terms of the insurance jargon. But the downside is that, especially with insurance, especially with business owners, we get a lot of tax problem. We have business people, we have the personal side as well, to the retirement side. Sometimes it might have 2, 3, 4 business owners all join together. So it involves a lot of things outside of insurance. For example, maybe tax, maybe real estate questions, maybe lawyer questions. So at the same time, I want to know this because eventually, maybe one day I will become that level as well too. So therefore, I want to find a group of people that are similar mind, that want to surface the Canadian side, so that at least, I don't want the clients to go, go to accountant say A, and then go to a lawyer say B. I want to find someone that we can think of their behalf, a group of thinkers that we can plan out all the way at the end, just to make our clients or any business owners make their life easier. That's it.
Correct. And I'm going to tout Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you guys know the book, Robert Kiyosaki, in his book, he tells about the story of the rich dad, talking about this one story where he brought Robert to this board meeting where Robert Kiyosaki's rich dad was sitting there, and he had all his advisors around him, right? And, I'm very proud of you as well too, Thomas, because we work in a sort of a cohort or a house of experts, right? In which Josh Pearl brings the CPA side or the fractional CFO side, you bring the insurance, and then also myself, I come from the business coaching side, perhaps even the digital marketing side as well too. And many times, we might even bring in mortgage brokers, we might bring in real estate agents. There's a lot of different advisors, and you want to bring them all together, make sure they're all on the same page, operating off the same financial plan, so that way not one person is giving advice that's going to counteract the others as well. A lawyer, legacy, planning, for legacy and so forth. We're writing wills and so forth. All those things need to happen. Now, Thomas, I want to segue a little bit here, because let's give me the juicy stuff. I think a lot of the audience watching this video here, and particularly, by the way, if you are not Canadian and you're watching this video, it still can be beneficial for you. We just want to make sure we give you a disclaimer that a lot of stuff that Thomas and I are doing, in particular on this video series, is mainly for Canadians, right? Canadian business owners. Now, on the other hand, if you're, say, American or British or someone from another country, there's still universal principles. You just need to find the equivalent of that in your country. So you may need to find the equivalent of a Thomas in Australia or in England and in the US. You may need to find an equivalent of Josh Sproul, a CPA, fractional CFO, who's a business coach as well, in your country, wherever you are. So, but if you're in Canada, you're in luck. You can check out the description below. If you want to work with us and you want me to make some introductions, I'm happy to do that. Just let us know in the comments below, and we can make those introductions for you. Thomas, tell us give us the dirty stuff. Like, what are some of the horror stories when you work with business owners? What are the mistakes? I'm guessing that the person watching this video is a business owner right now, an entrepreneur, probably a Canadian business owner, that has probably the last thing on their mind, the lowest priority, because they're so busy doing sales and maybe going out to sites or putting out contracts and quotes and fulfilling on work or services or consulting or coaching or whatever it is they're doing. And the last thing that's on their mind is insurance. Why is that a big mistake? What are some of the horror stories that you've seen?
Yeah, I think one of the downsides for having insurance is that it is important. A lot of people understand that, but it's not urgent to them. They can do it today, they can do it tomorrow. And since they can do it tomorrow, why not just wait until tomorrow? And then there's always the next tomorrow, right? But one thing why I believe the work that I do, and I actually been testimonials on this as well too, is because I talked to a business owner. I actually met him 2-3 years ago. He is actually having a fantastic business. He's actually bringing good incomes. So I was like, hey, you know what, Mr. Klein, besides from you making great income, maybe it's time to preserve something in case something happens. I don't want you to sell off your business. I don't want you to liquidate some of your assets. So because you can transfer the risk to the insurance company. He understands that. He agrees with it. But he was like, Thomas, I'm just so busy. Tomorrow I need to fly to this place. Next month I need to fly to this place. Let's talk about it in the next meeting. And then we can always keep delaying and delaying and delaying. But not long ago, around 6 months ago, I actually just got a text from him. He said, hey, Thomas, I need to talk to you about insurance. And right off the bat, I knew something is bad. Usually insurance, when the client comes to talk to you, it means something happened. And unfortunately, he did. He said that, Thomas, I actually got diagnosis of cancer. It was great. I'm going through chemo. But then, you know what? I'm going to have to rest for another 2-3 months because I don't want to go back to work. Fortunately, he actually has a team, so he can actually be semi-automated.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
as a CEO, as a president, is a fantasy that you can actually off the work. In your mind, in your lifestyle, you've been always thinking about work. So he does have to go back. And then, long story short, another things happened. He's actually, because of the COVID, now he actually have to lower down his business production. At the same time that he can give himself some time to rest. But unfortunately, now the landlord actually said, you know what, I'm gonna need to kick you out because I need the place back. So now, not only he's
multiple problems, everything
multiple problems.
At once. Yeah,
exactly.
When it rains, it pours, right? And it's like everyone digs their well when they're thirsty. They should be digging their well before they're thirsty. In this case here as well too. Wow,
yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Very unfortunately. So therefore, now not only he has no income, and he has to, spend a lot of money. Yes, in Canada, MSP covers a lot of things, but at the same time, the MSP doesn't cover a lot of things, like mortgage, like medical bills. Some of things are not covered, and he actually has
and a lot of elective stuff, right? If he wants to speed it up. I mean, in Canada, we got the MSP and so forth, but then you're sitting on a waiting list for a specialist for 2 years. If you got cancer, you don't want to be waiting 2 years for that. I'm not ungrateful to the Canadian system. I'm very grateful. We pay a lot of taxes for that, but there's a lot of people on waiting lists everywhere as well too. And you can speed it up with a little bit of the elective surgery, or if you have some coverage in other areas as well, right?
Yeah, but anyway, so I think the moral of the story is that, I'm just saying that, hey, you know what, if I've been very following up, with the client, as hey, Mr. Client, please consider this. Maybe he has that money. Again, it's not going to cure his cancer. It's not going to fix his business, but at least he get enough time, buy him enough, like 6 months, 1 year time, so he can plan better So then, he can move assets around. So he doesn't maybe do renting, maybe do something, other things, so that he's not going to be in this shape anymore. So that kind of puts me in a position where every time when I talk to, no matter as a business owner or family, I always want to make sure I bring that information out first. Rather you take it or not, it is up to you, but at least I want to do my job that, hey, you know what, it is very important to have it. Not sure if I mentioned this before. Like I always say, you know what, if you talk to a millionaire, you talk to a billionaire, they will always have some sort of insurance in place, but they will never let you know that. But they do. Yeah. This is the funny part.
They always do. And of course, I'm gonna dive into some of those questions, just a couple of seconds here, because there is a way of actually using your insurance policies to actually, collateralize, get the money out, and actually use it tax-free. Correct?
That's correct. So
right. And those becomes models, right? Those become another stream, a revenue stream for the business owner, and also a tax shelter as an advantage as well too, right?
Yeah. So use me for example. So in Canada, we know that if we bring money into the business, anything under $500,000, you get taxed around 11 to 13% depending on the province that you're in. However, once the money is in the corp, and you don't want to take it out, the money will be there as a retaining earning, what we call. And therefore, anything passive income generated by that retaining earning, you actually have to pay 50.67% to the CRA. So every dollar that you make, you have to pay 50% to the government. So a lot of business owners have that kind of pain as like, oh, should I take it out? Should I leave it in there? What should we do, right? And as an insurance, yes, definitely the the fundamental of insurance is actually to cover your income or cover your assets when you're gone. But at the same time, for business owners, now we can use a side perks of having the insurance as a tax shelter account, where it's just like a cup. Once you put money in, it's actually all tax shelter, and then you can actually take it out also with a tax advantage as well too. And then it can be completely tax-free when you pass away. So you can actually delegate your assets to the next generation.
That's fantastic. Now, obviously, I don't want to dive into all the, if anyone's Canadian and you want to know more about this, I'm sure Thomas, you can tell, knows what he's talking about. Reach out to him. We'll put his contact details in the description below. Thomas, I want to find out more about, how you built your business. Did you just do it as a one-man show? Did you have any mentors? Do you have team members? These are the common traits that all business owners have. Tell us a bit more about that. How did you build your business?
I think around 6-7 years ago, I think I was working more like a self-employed, more like I'm just be there, talk to clients, calling clients, emailing clients, everything to yourself. I'm the business owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the COO, I'm the CFO, everything I have to do it myself.
And you were the janitor too. You were the janitor,
exactly,
you were the cleaner, right? You had to do everything.
Exactly. But realized that then really fortunate, business was getting better. A lot of people start referring other people to me. And then I realized to a point that, hey, I cannot do this anymore, because not only I want to take more clients, but at the same time that I really want to give my quality time to my existing client, because they are always the one who support me. I really want to give that time back to them. So therefore, we only have 24 hours in a day, right? And even if I don't sleep, I don't think I can manage that much. At the same time, especially with COVID, and we all know that a lot of people start more working from home, therefore is more to the digital marketplace now. So I can swear to God, I'm a very lazy person. So therefore, I've been always try to think of ways, how do I be automated so that I can be out of that position? So instead of working in the business, I want to work on the business. So that's why I want to have that.
In your defense, Thomas, you're not a lazy person. I've worked with you and I can see that you're phenomenal, but I love the fact that you're transparent and vulnerable. I think all of us entrepreneurs have this secret lazy side to us. I once heard another mentor say, we are selectively lazy, or we are strategically lazy. We probably all quit our jobs. E-Myth, Revisited by Michael Gerber. He talks about the one day getting this entrepreneurial seizure. I'm going to go start a business. And a lot of times it's because most of us did not want to just be a typical employee. Nothing wrong with employees, I'm not putting that down. And if someone's got a T4 and they're earning a paycheck and something, well done, thank you for contributing to society. But for those of us that have this bug to be an entrepreneur, we suddenly want to go do it. And many times, actually, believe it or not, most entrepreneurs, we are actually kind of lazy. We want to find a quick and faster way to take control and make money and have a system. And man, if I just put in 20% of my time, I get paid 80%, right? And so, I in your defense, Thomas, I want everyone to know, because I've seen your work ethic, you work very hard, but I love the fact that you're honest and you just say, hey, look, it's, I did this. It was the reluctant hero. You started the business and you needed to find ways to systematize it, to grow and scale it so that you could get some of your time back, right? You didn't want to set up a business just to end up working in the business all the time. You want to work on the business and have some free time for your life and your health as well too, correct?
For sure. And then, so therefore I've been training my assistants, my advisor, that is more the front line. And then I do a lot of, I call it the roadshow or the seminars, that where I go to people's office and do lunch and learn, or I go to like events and do that. And I think that is working. So instead of just one-to-one, now I talk to one-to-many. But unfortunately, I don't find it as effective. That's even before COVID. So even before COVID, I was thinking, is there any ways that I can systemize this, do a little more? So I was like, why don't we do videos? And that's
before you go into that, Thomas. So again, pay attention here. There may be other insurance agents, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, normally the professionals in the space. Where, and I made other videos, you can probably even check it out here, I'll put in the description below, where myself and Josh, we talk about the myth of just relying on referrals, okay? And a lot of entrepreneurs, you don't have a business if you're actually just depending on referrals. And I think Thomas just said it right there. You realize that, it worked okay for you to some point, but it wasn't a predictable pipeline, and especially in this new age right now. So what was the next shift? What was that big sort of, you went and you did something that's unconventional compared to every other insurance guy out there? What did you start doing?
Yeah, so what I did next is that, let's record it first. So then even before the YouTube thing is, let me record these videos so I can send, hey, Desmond, before you see me, let's watch this video. So it will shorten the time. Since I'm going to do the same presentation over and over again, might as well just make videos to send it to save my time. And then the next phase is like, okay, if I record those videos, why don't I make it a little more tailored? And I do believe that not a lot of Canadians understand what insurance, not about retirement works. So why don't I start a YouTube channel? At least I can be a library, so that where I can just direct my clients by referrals and say, before you talk to me, just go to my channel and check it out. And then I was really, really fortunate that afterwards, more people actually see that, they refer other people see that. So then I've been actually building my channels, and now I'm actually able to bring in more business thanks to the online marketing and stuff too.
Actually, I'm very proud of you, Thomas, because most people who know my channel and know what I've done, I have another mentor as well, like I said, and I worked and supported him in growing and scaling his social media. His name is Dan Locke. So if you go take a look, he's got, but at the time of this recording, close to almost 3.6 million subscribers. And I can't take all the credit for doing that, but I was definitely there in the early stages of helping him grow, going from 10,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers, and then forming and building a team that went from 100,000 to a million, and then further on, and creating that momentum. And during that time, Dan and I also created some courses and programs. If you guys want to find out more, you just click in the links below, or just find out more, just research who he is. There's some programs out there like Tube Your Own Horn and things that we did, in which we actually taught people how to grow YouTube channels. We also helped some other mentees, like Gary Wong and Andre Minka from Trademark Factory. And you can see how their YouTube channels took off as Canadian business owners who, in trademark space or real estate agent, or even Thomas in the, in the insurance space. And Thomas is a great student. He actually implemented the stuff that we had taught, and that's why he started growing. Now, Thomas, just at the time of this recording, how many leads are coming in organically, just simply from your YouTube channel? Are you willing to share that information?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a very transparent person. So I think it's roughly around, I would say around maybe 15 to 16 a month. And a month, and they are like actually good prospects, meaning that they actually come to, hey, Thomas, I'm looking for insurance. I watch your videos. I'm actually ready. Can you just tell me, what are things that I need to watch out for? So that I always believe, this is some side notes. I always believe that there are only 3 reasons why people say no to you. First of all, it's no value. They don't think your proposition is value. So therefore they think that your plan is too expensive. And therefore, I think doing investment is better. I think doing a real estate is better. That's why they don't believe in insurance. The second of all, they don't have the trust. So therefore, they don't trust you, they don't trust your company, they don't trust your insurance company, or they don't trust the product. And lastly, there's no urgency. as I mentioned, they can do it today or they can do it tomorrow, right? So I believe what YouTube, or at least what social media help me, as in that they take care of the value because they see the pain, they see, oh, this video can really solve my problem. So the first one is well taken care of. The second one, no trust. After that 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of watching your videos, he already know who you are already. And I believe that, you know what, you are a great person to talk to. I can sense your vibe. I can sense the tone. So let's have a chat. The only thing I need to focus on, which is the no urgency, is that now during our meeting, how do I make sure that by doing it early is way better than doing it late?
That makes so much sense. And I think what you just said there was so powerful, Thomas, because those 3 points are universal throughout almost any business where any kind of sales or transaction marketing is happening here. It's a form of marketing. It's so many business owners do not put enough attention on social media marketing. I know my mentor, Dan Locke, is very big on it, and he talks about, he puts on an event called the Smart Challenge as well too, and he talks to business owners there, and he always says, you're a media company. You're no longer a dentist. You're no longer an insurance agent. You're no longer a designer, a logo designer. You are a media company, and you need to really put yourself out there. Thomas, when you get these leads coming in, I think you touched a bit on it. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how warm are they? How easy are they to, I don't say use the word close, because you offer a service and most clients they want to buy. They just needed to know who to buy from. And because you invested the time in your social media, in your YouTube channel, and you don't even have that big of a YouTube channel, quite frankly speaking, right? I mean, you're not like some, here's my $100,000, my plaque or whatever. No, you've been growing, but it's been growing steadily, and the leads are already coming. It's paying dividends. So, my question to you is, how much time did it, when you made that decision to go into social media, was it kind of disappointing for you? Were you kind of heartbroken a bit? Were you kind of like, oh man, I made a video and only got 10 views, right? Why did you not give up? At which point did you start seeing things turn over?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to my personality, that when I think something worked, then I really will draw it to make it work. I understand that it's gonna be just like learning bike, learning swim. It takes like a huge learning curve to go up. But then once you do that, then it becomes your muscle memory and start getting the hang of it. I remember it actually took me 10 months from 0 to 1,000 subscribers. And where I see other channels is like, within 2 months and they all become like 10,000, 20,000. So definitely it's frustrating, especially I put my videos, like I spend like, 10 hours, 12 hours making one video. And it's only like 200 views, 300 views. And I understand, of course, that at the beginning, my work is not like perfect, and I don't mind because I want to make sure that I just want to have something out there. Like
you weren't doing any like TikTok or any kind of like prankster type stuff, gimmicky stuff to get the views and your subscribers, right? You were actually delivering value and stuff that people are looking for.
Exactly. I just want to put it out there first because I know that I'm not really looking for the subscribers. I'm more like just want to use it as a library where people can use their own time, not use my time. So then therefore they can go see it. And then later on, okay, now I see one thing that I can do it better. Let's do that. I see another thing that I can do it better. Let's do that. So then it keeps 1% better. So it's atomic habits, right? So I just keep getting better and better. And then now, like right now, again, just like you said, mentioned, I don't have a lot of big subscriber channel. I only have like 10,000, but I think this is something that it is an asset once it's like dividends, right? Once it's here, they cannot be gone.
Correct. And just being transparent, I do get to see Thomas's channel because I also do help him as a manager of his YouTube channel, and it's one of the services that I provide with him when him and I cohort and we consult with each other. But I can already see that it's paying dividends. Even just the AdSense, which most of us are not really building the YouTube channel for, the AdSense covers a lot of your production, and so that will continue as long as you keep putting out great content. Now, Thomas, I want to shift the gears a bit here for the general, the entrepreneurs out there as well too. There's a lot of commonalities. Speak to the younger version of Thomas. Okay, speak to the younger version of Thomas. If you could go back in time, or to an entrepreneur who's just getting started right now, what are maybe say 3 things that you would definitely redo or do faster now that you have all this knowledge? What would you do? What are 3 things that you would do? And these are action items. Pay attention. Please write these notes down if you're watching this video and take action on these things. Or if you want more clarity, please write in the comments and ask questions to Thomas so that he can give you more clarity on what he means. So Thomas, 3 things that the viewers can do and speak to them as if you're speaking to a younger Thomas say maybe 5 years ago?
For sure. I mean, if I can speak to my 5 years ago, I definitely will speak in the following three things. One is that little Thomas the Junior, you need to have a system in place. As in that, I thought as a self-employed, as a business owner, you have all the time. You don't have the 9 to 5 anymore. So then you can do this now, you can do this later, or you'll always be the hero trying to save the fires. But then I realized that it's actually quite counterintuitive that in order for you to have more freedom, you need to be more structured. So therefore, I always like, okay, now how to be a little bit more systematic. For example, I can only Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll be talking to my clients. Tuesday, I'll be talking to my team. Thursday, I'll be talking to my YouTube team as well too. Maybe I'll work a little bit on Saturday. And one thing that I really appreciated from you and from Josh as well too, you need to have a day off. You cannot just roll seven days, because if you're running a marathon, you're not running a sprint. You need to have, you have a day to rethink. Let the muscle. You cannot just keep working your muscle. You do let the muscle to rest a little bit in order for them to grow. So I always do appreciate that. The second of all is that you really need to have a team. I'm really, really fortunate that even though he's not on camera, but I want to give a big applause to my partner, Benjamin Sweet. I always say that me and him works really closely together. It's more like he's the one who's at the back end where all you see all these emails, creating those pipelines, a little bit of pretty much all the writing is actually from his work as well too. So I always say that I joke about that, I'm the singer and he's the producer. And then of course, I'm really fortunate to have George and have other mentors to help me as well too, because again, I can only know so much that in order for me to reach the next level, I need to make sure to do it. Now, of course, you may ask that, Thomas, can you learn this by all yourself? I think so. I think I can do that, but it's going to take me a tremendous of the time. Consider that I have this and this and that. So therefore, I rather want to work with a team, and especially a business coach. So therefore, it shorten my learning curve so I can do that. I think if I can describe my 3 phases of business, it will be the first phase is more like just still using my time in exchange of money. But then later on, I want to use my money in exchange of the time so I can create better. And lastly, I want to have both of the currency so I can be really financial independent. And so I can do what I like to do.
I love it. That is super awesome. In fact, I would encourage the viewers to rewind that part and just re-listen to that part again. Those are nuggets of goals that you can implement right away. In fact, if you just even implement that, you should get some massive value. Thomas, before we wrap up here, share with us, what is the vision? What's the vision for Thomas? Where do you see yourself going? How do you see the industry changing? How do you see yourself impacting Canadian business owners with your skill sets? Or, tell us about that vision. What's the next 3 years look like?
For sure. So one thing that I always say, especially after the COVID, is that nothing is guaranteed. Business cannot be guaranteed. You work in the government, it's not guaranteed. Benefits cannot be guaranteed as well too. So I want to do as much by providing valuable information out there, because when I talk to someone who is either in the business owner or even in just a personal retirement conversation, I think a lot of stuff are out there that you can actually see it, but unfortunately either they don't have the time or they are not interested. So therefore, I just read this, and unfortunately with the internet, the good thing is you can find everything in the internet. The downside is there's so many, at the same time, misleading information on the internet as well too. So I want to make a system or make something that is really implementable, so that no matter if you're John Doe or you are just a middle class family, or you are billionaires, by using that system, you'll be able to get to where you want in the amount of time that you decide. And right now, really fortunate, and compared to auto insurance or compared to other insurance, life insurance and sickness insurance is something that once you bind a contract with the insurance company, your cost is fixed. They cannot increase your price in the next 20, 30, 40 years. So therefore, I think that is one of the few certainties that we can have in this world. And with such a low interest environment right now, we do want to diversify our assets a little bit, some in the real estate market, some in the stock market. But at the same time, when I talk about retirement planning, when I talk about, you always want to have 5 assets, right? Cash, paper asset, which is your mutual fund and stocks and ETF and stuff, real estate, insurance, and commodities. Those are the 5 assets. No matter if you're a business owner, no matter if you're a retirement person, I think these 5 assets will be really crucial in order to truly achieve financial independence.
That is fantastic. Again, I would really encourage the viewers to go back and re-listen to those 5 areas. I know myself as a business owner. Many of you, have already been watching and following my channel. If you're not already, subscribe. Smash the like button there. You also go ahead and hit the bell button so that you don't miss. We're doing a whole series here. Plus, also on this channel, I give lots of business advice as a business coach, as a business mentor, digital marketing space, book reviews. There's a lot of different content that's going to feed and support the entrepreneur and the business owner, help you to scale your business, perhaps even build a business that you can eventually one day sell. There's a great book out there by Ryan Moran. He's another one of my advisors and mentors as well too, who talks about building and scaling companies that you may want to exit from. Those conversations we can talk about at a later date in those other videos. So go ahead and subscribe. By the way, Thomas, now that you've given all these pieces of advice and you've given the vision and you've shared these frameworks for people to go back and follow as an entrepreneur, these 5 areas here, if they're lacking in one of these areas, or they want to contact you and find out and maybe connect with you to get some advice, I know that you give away a free book, if I'm not mistaken, right? For consultations. There's no strings attached. You said, hey, if someone books a call with you, how can they do that? We'll put it in the description below, but what's the best way for someone to reach out to you? Should they subscribe to your YouTube channel? I will also include it here so you guys can immediately start doing that. But what's the best way for someone to contact you and have a conversation? Business owners are busy, so we just want to just give me the brass taxes. Where am I at? What's the risk? What do I need right now to protect myself? How can you do that?
For sure. So I will say the first thing is, if you don't know me, feel free to go to my YouTube channel. It's free. You can do it at your own time as well too. My videos is always like 8 to 10 minutes, all like chewable size. So it's always solving one problem at a time. So feel free to go take a look. At the same time, if you do feel value, want to connect it, feel free to just go to my website, which is www.thomaslechan.com. Just go take a look. Everything will be in there. At the same time, just like Desmond, you mentioned, I will actually give a free book, which is called The 15 Secrets That Taxman Doesn't Want You to Know. They are simple, but really, really, really powerful secrets that if you get to implement all of these, oh man, CRA, we're gonna hate you.
That's those for the Canadians there. So for those American brothers and sisters in the US with the IRS, we'll try to find another equivalent book. But for the Canadians, obviously, if you're reaching out to Thomas, that's a book that he can give you that's going to be applicable for you. So yeah, I'd highly reach out to Thomas. Him and I don't have any affiliations or anything like that in that sense from a professional standpoint. But I certainly work with Thomas. I'm going to wrap up with one last thing here. Here's a statistic that Josh Spurl talks about, and we talk about numbers all the time as a CFO, as a CPA. Business owners probably don't know this, but there is a 1 in 8,000 chance, and you can go do your research online about this. There's a 1 in 8,000 chance that you as a business owner will most likely die before the age of 65, right? Now, I'm not saying don't get life insurance just because of the 1 in 8,000. On the other hand, there's a 1 in 8 chance, 1 in 8, that you will most likely get disabled at some point in your life. Hopefully not full life, but at some point. Very similar to the case study that Thomas brought up there of that CEO who was stricken with cancer and with all the fires he had to put on, all the battles going on with the rent and COVID and everything else going on. That's a time when he needed to rest to kind of get his health back to kind of fight the cancer. Well, that's a form of disability, right? Now, there's many forms of disability. You might injure your leg, you might fall off a ladder, you might get into a car accident, fall off a horse, you might have all kinds of disability happen. You might be playing sports and someone kicks you in the shin, you might break a bone somewhere. That's a form of disability. You might get hit in the head snowboarding and get a concussion. That's a form of disability. So this is one thing I learned and why I keep Thomas around as one of my advisors as well too, because he looks after me and my family as well too. It provides advice on how to protect my family. If I get disabled, who's going to run my business? Who's going to take care of my family? These are very, very important questions that you may want to ask yourself as an entrepreneur. Do not wait till you need it. This is one of those things that you need to put. These are one of the success principles. All the successful entrepreneurs have this. They have advisors, they have planners, and some of these things may take 1 to 2 years of planning and talking with Thomas before you actually pull the trigger, but start that conversation now. And so with that, if you found this video helpful, if you found this video informative, do let us know in the comments below. Subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and we will see you in the next video. So Thomas, well done on the interview there. How did you feel about the interview?
Oh, I almost peed my pants.
I hope you didn't actually pee your pants, right? See, if you can do it, anyone can do it, Thomas. I mean, and you actually have a YouTube channel, right? But being on camera is a whole different thing.
It is a whole different thing. So I'm trying to get used to it.
That's funny. Hey, I forgot to ask you, what's one quirky thing about you? We may or may not put this on the channel, but what's one quirky thing about you that most people don't know about?
Well, because right now with the technology, right, we always do Zoom. Right now I'm in my office, so you know that I'm actually full dressed. But sometimes if you met with me, I usually still do this, but you don't want me to get up. Because
We
usually
don't
I
want to see
either,
the COVID right below. That's right.
so I'm either in my boxer or something shorter, and you don't
So
want
you
to know
didn't actually pee your pants. You might have actually peed and there was nothing there in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's edit that stuff. That's
that. And then,
scary.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.